So the Sandusky Neighborhood Initiative was about a year-long public process where we worked with the Cleveland Urban Design Collaborative, the CUDC, to select 6 different neighborhoods in the city of Sandusky. Taken together, they're meant to represent the city as a whole. And the idea was that we would go through a planning process in those neighborhoods with meetings both in them and outside of them to hear what the residents wanted to see.
What we have done throughout this process is engage the residents to see what it is they want, what their dreams and aspirations are for their neighborhoods, what they want to do in them, and more specifically, what kinds of investments they want to see the city make. And that can range from sidewalks and trees to a neighborhood park to some artwork. It's been individual by neighborhood, and that's been one of the coolest parts of the process, is hearing what those particular residents want for their neighborhood.
We actually held a meeting in every single neighborhood in the city of Sandusky and asked people what they wanted to see, what their vision for Sandusky's future was. And ultimately we heard time and time again from the residents of Sandusky that it was critical to them that while they loved Sandusky and they were proud of Cedar Point and they were starting to get excited about the things that were happening in downtown, they also wanted to make sure that in order for them to have a high quality of life and for the city to reach its full potential, that we had very strong neighborhoods.
You know, there's generations of families that are here in the neighborhoods, and you get to know those people. Each generation has something unique and special about them, and they are what really make up the city. And so at that point, I started to develop a sense of more of a community and looking around me and knowing that we needed some change and improvements in the neighborhood. Not just infrastructure, but the community needs, quality of life.
I think the Sandusky Neighborhood Initiative is vital for us right now. I think it's a very important project. I think the project itself is creating a sense of community that is much needed for the resurgence of Sandusky.
As a city, given the investments that you choose to make, you can have a profound impact on the character of that neighborhood and what the entire community is going to be.
I've spent 10 years either on the private side or municipal side of community development, and there's a lot of initiatives that get announced and they sort of fizzle out pretty quickly, either because they didn't have a lot of energy behind them or because they weren't well capitalized to be able to do projects. And I think one of the things we're very intentional about is both staffing up internally, but also finding people in the community that would be champions of the initiative. But secondarily, we actually have dollars to do projects. We have dollars to invest in housing. We have dollars to invest in streetscapes and beautification projects, the pocket parks that we're doing.
We're also very fortunate to be able to partner with the Dorn Foundation, who made a sizable grant to the city in order to undertake a planning process that focused again on housing, the infrastructure of the neighborhoods, from our parks to our sidewalks to our trees to our streets to the beautification of our neighborhoods, into the building of community.
One knows in the last 20 years, for lack of funding, we have had to let our infrastructure, like many small cities have, we've had to let our infrastructure fall behind. So this is an opportunity now for us to begin paving roads. It's an opportunity for us to continue to pour money into neighborhoods, whether that be taking down trees, taking down blighted homes. The things I think that I'm most proud of is the fact that just in the last 2 or 3 years, we've rolled out almost 2 miles of sidewalks. We've taken down over 250 trees. These are all things that improve your neighborhood, make a better environment for people to live in.
I think seeing these projects come up will really just encourage people to get involved and reach out to the city in a way that maybe they haven't before. My hope is that once residents start seeing projects that other residents have suggested and then they come to fruition, that they'll be encouraged to also reach out and share their suggestions with the city to see if we can make them happen.
In a lot of the meetings, we had residents that were there and they had, talked about their children and how this will affect their children and how they will want to kind of move back to the things that we're doing today.
We didn't want to just help people that come into the city. We want to reward those that have been invested in the city for decades.
It's a really unique chance to talk directly to your government about what you want to see. I like that they get the neighbors involved and neighborhoods involved for input. I think that all those things build better and stronger communities.
I see a lot of beautification taking place. I've seen some of the plans that are planned for our neighborhood, which I think is really it's just going to transform it. I like the signage that's taking place. I think those are very attractive, very up to date.
Our new leaders are trying to make things so much better. We're trying to do more for the city, recreation, the city, clean it up. Of course, there's still areas that need to be cleaned up, just like any big city. But we are 200 years old, so nothing is going to happen overnight. But they're trying. They're trying very hard.
Really love the fact that each project is so different and just bringing something to that neighborhood that they have needed.
There's a lot of areas in Sandusky that they've cleaned up and they're making into parks and areas for people to walk.
I think that we're moving forward in a very positive way. I'm happy and glad and I'm excited about our whole town just being better, just getting a lot stronger. And I think that as we build our neighborhoods, we will attract more people here, better housing, better schooling.
Step by step, as the city has increased code enforcement and we've seen investment not only downtown but now in the neighborhoods. I'm excited to see all the dumpsters that are in the neighborhoods, and you're seeing sidewalks replaced and garages built and front porches being replaced and houses remodeled and painted. And so you're seeing a lot of activity. And I think that's a message to the outside world that we're making a comeback.
I'm excited about the public art in the Cove neighborhood. I'm really excited about the farmers market or the community garden at Victory Kitchen. I'm excited about the South Side neighborhood and the reimagining of Churchwell Park and connecting to the new schools. I mean, everywhere I look throughout the neighborhood initiative, JC Park becoming more connected to the surrounding neighborhoods. I can't wait to see the guardrail that separates JC Park from the Wayne Street neighborhood to its west come down, and for that to become an entrance to a park and not a wall between a neighborhood and a park. So there's big projects, small projects, they all get me excited because every one of them has been through a process in which we've talked to residents about what they want to see happen and is also going to improve people's lives in those neighborhoods.
New police station, new fire station are coming. There's just so many things that we should be excited about, including the schools. There are not many schools systems that are, or communities that are funding new schools. So it makes quite a statement again, I think, in the region that Sandusky is the one that has the will to do that at this point in our economy and our history.
Just looking forward to all those different details that you're drawing together to make each neighborhood look distinctive and a little more beautiful. And I also feel really honored that I live in a neighborhood that I will see some of those changes upcoming.
I think what's exciting about the neighborhood initiative going forward is we are going to be renovating. We've committed, the master plan has committed money to parks. Parks are important to the neighborhoods. They're important to the youth in the neighborhoods. That's a big deal. We're put the finishing touches on Lions Park, which is probably, we've spent more than $2 million in Lions Park in the last 10 years. That's the finishing touch on the West End Park. So we are committed to spending dollars in the neighborhood. A lot of people believe that your downtown is where all the action is. That might be where the action is, but our residents are in the neighborhood. That's where our money's going and has to be spent.
Your neighborhoods really are what the city is all about. If you don't have strong neighborhoods, you're never going to have a strong city.
I've always lived in neighborhoods where I could walk to work, where I could walk to the library, where I could walk to a restaurant, and I see Sandusky and its neighborhoods becoming that kind of a place.
I think that the neighborhood process and the initiative is going really good for year one. I think it's a slow process to get going. It's not something that happens overnight, so it's a 5-year initiative, and I think at the end of the 5 years, we're really going to see a difference in the neighborhoods. But I think that the residents are excited, and I like to see that.
As we move forward, let's see what we can continue to do. I think there's a lot of pride that's coming out that we get to see in this neighborhood initiative, and I certainly feel really proud of it when we talk about it.
I think people should take this initiative to heart and be thankful that there's been people out there that's donated money and the city's been willing to match it. And don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I mean, it's all good stuff.
We'll be able to see the difference between what we've been living with and what we're starting to see change right now.
There's still some work to be done, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
Sandusky decided to invest in itself, and that's what's really moving us forward.
I'm just really proud of what Sandusky's trying to do, and I'm back, I'm 110%.